2 for 1. The Sombrero galaxy appears to be a giant elliptical galaxy with an embedded disk. One of the most significant contributions to plasma cosmology comes from Dr. Anthony L. Pratt, a plasma physicist and protege of Nobel laureate Hans Elfane. Pratt studied plasma formations in the laboratory for many years, monitoring short-duration Z-pinch effects, as well as creating particle-in-cell animations using the best supercomputers available. His conclusions include a theory that galaxies, rather than being condensations of gravitationally bound gas and dust, were actually plasma formations. Simulations of galactic-scale field-aligned Birkeland current filaments revealed that compression of tenuous cosmic plasma due to the self-consistent magnetic fields from currents conducted through the filaments resulted in formation of several galaxy configurations. Among them were elliptical and barred spiral shapes. The Sombrero galaxy, also known as NGC 4594 or M104, is a spiral galaxy in the constellation Virgo. Using the redshift measurement system employed by consensus astronomers, it is over 28 million light-years from Earth. The figure could be highly misleading, as several Pictures of the Day articles about astronomer Halton Arp's discoveries point out. Originally found in 1781 by Pierre McCain, the Sombrero galaxy represents puzzling attributes even to this day. It is a spectacular lenticular galaxy when seen through most optical telescopes, with a thick band of dark dust encircling its perimeter. However, as long ago as 1993, long-exposure optical images by David Malan of the Australian Astronomical Observatory revealed a halo of dust and gas completely englobing the galaxy. This led him to speculate that the Sombrero galaxy was a gigantic elliptical structure with a spiral contained within. Recently, images from the Spitzer Space Telescope's infrared instruments seem to indicate that Malan was correct. Inside the cloud of obscuring haze are faint stars that can be seen in long infrared wavelengths. NASA launched the Spitzer Space Telescope into an Earth-trailing orbit on August 25, 2003. Its cold mission used a tank of liquid helium to keep on board infrared detectors, chilled to minus 268 degrees Celsius. At that frigid temperature, wavelengths as long as 180 microns were detectable. In comparison, the longest red light frequency visible to the human eye is approximately 0.75 microns. The helium tank was exhausted after 5 years, so Spitzer is now conducting its warm mission. It can still see infrared signals in the 3.6 to 37 micron range because the cold of space keeps the instruments at negative 243 degrees Celsius. At negative 243 Celsius. The image at the top of the page is colored blue and green to indicate frequencies of 3.5 microns and 4.6 microns respectively. According to Spitzer analysis team, the finding answers a question that has long puzzled astronomers. Spiral galaxies are not supposed to have so many globular clusters in orbit around them. Since the Sombrero galaxy has as many as 2,000, The fact of its newly discovered elliptical status helps to resolve the issue. Galaxies exist within a circuit of electricity that flows through the cosmos from beginning to end. No one can tell where the current rises or to what it is attached, but we see its electromagnetic fields in the magnetism surrounding galaxies and in the synchrotron radiation that they emit. The electric currents organize into fields of plasma, composed of neutral atoms, but with a small fraction of electrons, protons, and other charged particles also present. Those particles and the charged neutral ones they sweep along with them are driven by a larger electromagnetic field to form pinches of matter. As Peratt's publications insist, it is that plasma, along with the electricity that it engenders, that drives the structures within the cosmos. Their formation and behavior are indicative of Birkeland current filaments, larger than galaxies, creating Z-pinch zones, in which those galaxies can form. Since galaxies are often strung like pearls through space, that arrangement lends credence to the idea. The Sombrero galaxy most likely demonstrates how other spiral galaxies are constructed. Indeed, it has recently been shown that the Milky Way is surrounded by a vast halo as well. Perhaps all galaxies are elliptical in nature, with the limitations imposed by our instrumentally preventing us from realizing it. Stephen Smith. Dawn of the North Wind. Earth's aurorae demonstrate the electrical connection between our planet and the Sun. The Sun unleashed another coronal mass ejection on October 22, 2011, causing an outburst of colorful displays in nighttime skies as far south as Arkansas in the United States. There is an electrically active structure called the magnetotail, or plasma tail, extending for millions of kilometers from Earth, always pointing away from the Sun. The flow of charged particles ejected from the Sun, called the solar wind, is captured by our planet's magnetosphere, collected in a plasma sheet within the magnetotail, and held together by our magnetic field. Energetic ions stream into Earth's magnetic field down into the poles, exiting atmospheric molecules to the point where they emit various colors of light. Red frequencies from oxygen at high altitudes, green from oxygen at lower altitudes. Okay. And blue light from nitrogen. So nitrogen is blue. Okay. Electromagnetic instabilities also occur when a bright aurora is seen. In 1903, Christian Birkeland, a Norwegian research team, undertook an expedition to the Arctic, where they discovered that electric charge from the aurora borealis flowed parallel to the auroral formation. In 1966, the U.S. Navy satellite Triad recorded those magnetic disturbances as it passed over the Earth's polar regions and through what were named the Van Allen radiation belts. Those vertical electric currents that flow to Earth from the solar wind were named Birkeland currents by Alex Dessler in 1969. During the recent substorm, Norwegian scientists again detected electricity flowing through the ground under the auroral glow. Birkeland's polar electric currents are known today as auroral electrojets, and they are connected to electric circuits following Earth's geomagnetic field into and away from the Arctic and Antarctic regions. NASA scientists label this electric effect a new discovery. Although they acknowledge the electric currents in their published papers, conventional theorists persist in seeing them as magnetic collision effects in plasma, rather than the fundamental cause of auroral phenomena. One of the most interesting aspects to the latest auroral episode is not its display, but its origin. Just before the CME, a comet was seen entering the sun's corona, and then failing to reappear. In previous Picture of the Day articles, several other examples were discussed of comets crashing into the sun just before large CMEs. One comet in particular, 96P Machholz, did not strike the sun, it skimmed around it, apparently causing a CME in the process. According to solar physicists, there is no way for a loosely held together blob of ice and rock, to initiate an electromagnetic eruption, moving at 2,500 kilometers per second. What they fail to consider is that there is a radial electric field from the sun permeating the solar system. As charged comets move rapidly through that field, they may experience a sudden breakdown or discharge across the giant plasma sheath surrounding the cometary nucleus. The sun's continuous discharge is a dynamic process requiring only a small external electrical trigger, like that provided by a comet, for it to discharge violently. By the way of contrast, astronomers discount any relationship between comets and CMEs, based simply on their enormous physical size difference. However, several other sun grazers have been associated with violent flares. One event can be a coincidence, two can be long odds, but three or more cannot be dismissed as mere oddities. Stephen Smith and Wal Thornhill. This paper's title comes from Aurora Borealis. Electric star birth. Stars and planets are formed along current filaments in molecular clouds, like pearls on a cosmic string. Gravity can be ignored. Ionized elements convect inwards from the molecular cloud by long-range electromagnetic ion pump action to form a cool core. Blue. Hydrogen and helium form stellar atmospheres. All stars have a cool planetary body as their core. Spin is imparted to the stars and planets electromagnetically. Whatever did happen to common sense. Stars and planets are later ejected from the filaments by a slingshot mechanism. It just goes, whew, slingshots it out.